English Easy Podcast.
Hello, learners. Welcome back to English Sleep Podcast, your partner to learning English while you sleep. Have you ever wondered why a millionaire staying in a perfectly silent 5-star luxury hotel might just lie awake all night staring at the ceiling?
Yeah, unable to turn their brain off.
Exactly. While someone sleeping on a thin mattress, on the floor of a really crowded apartment can sleep so deeply and soundly. Tonight, we're going to explore that quiet, hidden path.
We really are. We're taking a deep dive into how we can move from that constant restlessness, that anxiety of money, toward a peaceful life of feeling like you have exactly enough.
I invite you now to get very comfortable. Sink into your bed, let your shoulders drop, and just let our voices be your guide.
It is a wonderful destination for our journey tonight. we spend so much of our waking hours mentally calculating numbers.
Oh, constantly.
Right. We worry about bank balances or the cost of groceries or, the size of our salaries. But tonight, we are going to look at the psychology behind those numbers. We want to understand why our brains react to money the way they do, using clear, accessible English so that you can finally rest your mind.
Let's start with a very simple but really powerful analogy from our sources. Think of a mirror.
Okay, a mirror.
Normally, you look in a mirror to see your physical reflection, right? But in our modern society, we've developed this habit of using money as a money mirror. We hold up our bank accounts to look at our own personal value.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We check this mirror constantly to see if we are successful or if we are falling behind or if we are simply good enough to be respected.
And that is exactly where our modern anxiety begins. Because historically, hundreds of years ago, human beings evaluated their safety by looking at their community.
Like, did they have food?
Exactly. Did they have food? Did they have shelter? Did they have a tribe? Now, we evaluate our safety by looking at numbers on a glowing screen. When you look at this money mirror, your brain automatically starts comparing your reflection to others. You see the expensive car your neighbor bought or the exotic vacation your coworker took, and suddenly your own quiet, simple life feels completely inadequate.
It feels too small.
Exactly. But the mirror doesn't reflect reality. It only reflects your insecurities.
I hear what you're saying about putting this mirror down. But realistically, we live in a world where money pays the rent. It buys our food.
Yeah.
Isn't it a bit naive to just tell people, stop looking at the numbers? Because we do need money to survive.
But that is a very crucial distinction to make. There's a massive difference between financial survival and financial identity.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, yes, we need money to pay the rent, but the anxiety doesn't usually come from buying basic groceries. The deep stress comes when we use money to buy our identity.
I see.
For example, our deep dive highlights a really beautiful story of a woman who earned a very low wage. By society's standards, her money mirror was incredibly small, but she separated her survival from her identity. She grew fresh green herbs in tiny pots on her windowsill. She took the time to brew warm tea for her neighbors.
Sounds so peaceful.
It was. She knew the local postman's name and treated him like family. Her confidence wasn't attached to a paycheck at all. It was attached to her humanity.
So she paid her bills, but she didn't look to her bills to tell her she was a good person.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. She knew her true value wasn't a number.
Exactly.
And for our listeners resting right now, this brings up an incredibly important English word to focus on. The word is worth.
Worth.
Right. Worth means your personal value. It is how much you matter as a human being, independent of your career. If you're listening in the quiet of your room, I invite you to say this full sentence out loud, slowly, to really feel its meaning. Your worth is not based on your salary.
Let that truth settle into your mind. Your worth is not based on your salary.
Because we so often forget our actual worth, we fall into a really stressful habit. We start to run after things we don't need.
We really do.
Which brings us to another valuable word, chase. To chase means to pursue something aggressively, like running after it until you are exhausted.
We chase promotions, we chase newer cars, we chase status.
Let's practice a sentence with this word to remind ourselves to slow down. Repeat this softly. We spend years chasing more without asking if it makes us happier.
We spend years chasing more without asking if it makes us happier.
But this makes me wonder, why doesn't chasing work? If I actually win the game, if I get the high salary and buy the beautiful house, why doesn't the money mirror stop making me anxious?
Well, because there is a profound biological and psychological difference between two concepts that we often confuse: Comfort and contentment.
Comfort and contentment.
Okay. When you chase money and buy a bigger house or a softer bed, you are buying physical comfort. And your brain responds to that with a quick hit of dopamine.
Which feels really good, right?
Oh, it feels great. Dopamine is a chemical that makes you feel excited. But here is the catch. Humans adapt. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill.
The hedonic treadmill.
Right. You buy the soft bed, you feel great for a week, and then your brain just gets used to it. The excitement fades. You're on a treadmill running, but staying in the exact same place emotionally. You suddenly need an even softer bed just to feel that same excitement again.
So comfort is a moving target.
Exactly.
Comfort is a thick, warm blanket or a perfect cup of coffee. It makes life physically easier, but it doesn't actually cure the anxiety. So what is contentment then?
Contentment is entirely different. It doesn't rely on dopamine. Contentment triggers different chemicals in the brain, like serotonin and oxytocin.
Oh, the calming ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
The ones that signal deep safety and connection. Contentment is that quiet, internal whisper that says, right here, right now, I have enough.
I love that.
You cannot buy contentment. You cannot put it in an online shopping cart. It is a state of nervous system regulation that comes from genuine human connection and inner peace.
Our source material gave a fascinating illustration of this difference. Imagine a person staying in a highly exclusive luxury hotel. Everything is made of polished marble. The environment is perfectly controlled.
The ultimate physical comfort.
Exactly. Yet the person lying in that massive, expensive bed feels completely alone, just staring at the ceiling, their mind racing with worries about work and investments.
Yes, and contrast that with the second half of the same story. That person leaves the hotel and goes to visit a dear friend who lives in a tiny, crowded studio apartment.
Right.
There is no luxury at all. They sleep on a simple mattress on the floor, but they cook a meal together. The small room smells like garlic and tomatoes. They tell stories and laugh until their stomachs physically ache.
That sounds wonderful.
And that night, sleeping on the floor, the person sleeps deeply and peacefully. They had very little physical comfort, but they had absolute contentment.
I really love that visual. It sounds like comfort is buying the softest, most expensive chair in the world, but contentment is actually having the peace of mind to sit down in it and relax.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
You can own 1,000 soft chairs, but if your mind is racing with anxiety, you can't enjoy a single one of them.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. The chair is useless without the peace of mind to use it. When we don't have that peace, we feel a very specific type of discomfort.
Which perfectly introduces our next English word for our learners to practice. The word is restless.
Restless.
Right. Restless describes the feeling when your body might be perfectly still, but your mind refuses to stop moving. You feel an uneasy, empty energy, even when things look perfect on the outside. Let's practice saying this sentence softly into the quiet of your room. Even in his big house, he felt restless.
Even in his big house, he felt restless. That restlessness is what the hedonic treadmill feels like. But there is a cure, which is our next word.
Contentment.
Contentment.
This is the deep, quiet happiness you feel with what you already possess. It is the end of the chase. Let's say this sentence together, nice and slow. She lived simply, but with great contentment. She lived simply, but with great contentment. So, if buying more comfort doesn't lead to contentment, how should we be using our money? If we manage to step off the treadmill, where do we go?
Well, we shift our focus to something far more valuable than paper currency. We focus on time.
Time.
Yes. In our modern economy, time is the ultimate, quietest form of wealth. Think about the fundamental nature of money. If you lose $1,000, it is painful, yes, but it is a renewable resource.
Right, you can always make it back.
Exactly. You can work differently, save carefully, and eventually earn that $1,000 back. But time is entirely non-renewable. Once you spend an hour, a day, or a year of your life, it is gone forever. You can never, ever earn it back.
We trade our time for money every single day, often without doing the math on what we are actually losing. There was a story in our deep dive about a highly ambitious professional. They wanted to build a massive safety net of wealth. So they said yes to every extra project. They took every single late-night phone call. And then one day, they realized they had not paused to watch the sunset in over 8 months.
Wow. It is a tragic realization that many of us face. They were completely present in every single business meeting, but they were entirely absent from their own life.
Exactly.
This happens because modern society trains us to fear missing out on income, but we rarely fear missing out on our own lives.
But pushing back on this a little, society actively rewards the hustle. We are told that working 60 hours a week makes us important. How do we just say no without feeling like we are failing? What are some...
Right. Use your money to say no to extra work. Buy yourself a quiet Sunday morning.
That makes incredible sense.
Yeah.
Every item we buy costs us the time it took to earn the money, plus the time it takes to clean it, maintain it, and eventually replace it. Too many items just create noise.
Precisely. And that noise has a name in English. Our next word is clutter.
Clutter.
Clutter means having too many things packed into a space. But it isn't just physical trash, it is mental distraction. Too many clothes, too many apps on your phone, too many obligations.
Just too much of everything.
Right. If you are resting, try saying this sentence to visualize clearing away that noise. She wanted less clutter and more peace in her life.
She wanted less clutter and more peace in her life. I can feel the relief in that idea, because when we don't clear the clutter, we face a very modern danger. That brings us to the word burnout.
Ah, yes. Burnout.
You often hear burnout described as a candle losing its flame, but I think a better analogy for modern life is a smartphone battery.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
If you leave 50 apps open and your screen on full brightness, your battery will just die by noon. Burnout is when you leave all your mental apps open by saying yes to everything until your personal battery completely dies. Let's practice this sentence. He said yes to everything until burnout hit him.
He said yes to everything until burnout hit him. And then when we are burned out, we miss the beauty of living, which leads to a beautifully sad but very important English phrase, drift away.
Drift away.
Imagine a small wooden boat on a quiet river slowly floating out of your sight. To drift away means to slowly disappear without you noticing. If we aren't careful, the best parts of life do exactly this. Let's say this sentence together. The quiet moments drift away while we chase success.
The quiet moments drift away while we chase success. Let's not let those moments drift away anymore. As we enter the final part of our deep dive tonight, we have traveled quite a distance.
We really have.
We've moved away from the anxiety of the money mirror. We've recognized the trap of the hedonic treadmill and the absolute exhaustion of burnout. So where do we finally arrive? What is the emotional destination of this journey?
We arrive at the powerful, calming concept of enough.
Enough.
The entire global economy is essentially a giant machine designed to whisper one message into your ear. More is better. But tonight, we are asking a much softer question. What does enough look like?
And it is crucial to understand that enough does not mean settling for a miserable life.
Exactly. It doesn't mean forced poverty. Enough simply means the point where your needs are met and the frantic pursuit stops. It is knowing when the glass is full, so you stop pouring water before it spills all over the table.
Our sources shared a really beautiful profile of a man who found his enough. He didn't live in a mansion. He lived in a very small one-bedroom apartment.
Right.
He didn't own a car. He got around on a secondhand bicycle. He deleted all his social media so he wouldn't be tempted to look in the money mirror. But his life was incredibly rich.
It was so rich.
Every single morning, he woke up early. He ground his coffee beans slowly, just enjoying the rich smell. He opened his window, felt the cool air, and fed small crumbs to the birds. He sat in the morning light reading poetry. That quiet, deliberate life, that was his enough.
He had everything he needed to regulate his nervous system and feel joy. And when you finally realize that you have enough, a fascinating psychological shift happens. Your hands, which were tightly closed trying to hold on to money, suddenly open up. You realize you have the capacity to give.
Yes, the story of the man with the umbrella. This completely blew my mind. There was an account of a man walking down the street during a freezing, heavy rainstorm.
Oh, this story is amazing.
Right. He was carrying a large, sturdy umbrella. Up ahead, he saw a stranger walking in just a shirt, completely soaked and shivering. Without hesitating, the man walked up and simply handed his umbrella to the stranger.
And then he just kept walking. He walked away in the freezing, pouring rain, getting completely soaked himself. But he was smiling.
See, this is what fascinated me. He didn't give the umbrella away because he was a billionaire with 100 extra umbrellas at home. He gave it away knowing he would get wet. It completely flips the script that you need to be rich or have a massive surplus to be generous. Why does giving away something you actually need make you smile?
It comes back to how human beings evolved. We are a tribal species. For thousands of years, our survival depended on mutual aid. When you give something valuable to another person, even a stranger, your brain releases a massive wave of oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
Oh, wow.
It signals to your body, I am connected to the tribe, I am safe. The man in the rain didn't lose wealth. He gained a profound sense of human belonging. Giving actually expands our biological capacity for happiness.
That's so beautiful.
Hoarding things, on the other hand, creates this low-level stress because you are constantly afraid of losing what you've hoarded.
So when you feel you have enough, generosity becomes a joy, not a sacrifice. Before we practice our final English words, I want to pause and speak directly to you, the listener, resting in the quiet. I want you to reflect deeply on your own life. What does your enough look like?
It's a wonderful question.
What is the exact point where you can stop running so that your daily joy doesn't get buried under the stress of wanting more? Just let that thought float in your mind.
It is the most important question you can ask yourself. And to help anchor that thought, let's practice our final 2 words. The first is the word we just explored, enough.
Enough.
Enough means sufficient. It means peaceful. It means the absence of needing more. Let's say this sentence softly, releasing any tension in your jaw or shoulders. She finally realized she had enough to be happy.
Let's let that sink in. She finally realized she had enough to be happy. And our final word for the night is the key to experiencing that happiness.
Presence.
Presence means being fully absorbed in the current moment, not projecting your fears into tomorrow, not dragging your regrets from yesterday, just being right here, right now, safe in your bed. In English, the word presence sounds exactly like the word presents, meaning gift boxes wrapped in shiny paper.
Right.
Let's practice a sentence that plays with these 2 meanings. Real happiness comes from presence, not presence.
It is a clever and deeply true sentence. Let's say it one more time. Real happiness comes from presence, not presence.
You've done wonderfully tonight. As we gently bring this deep dive to a close, let's look back at the path we've walked. We started by recognizing how the money mirror tricks us into believing our worth is tied to our income.
We did. We uncovered the psychology behind why chasing comfort on the hedonic treadmill leaves us feeling restless and empty.
We learned that true contentment is a biological state of safety, not a luxury purchase.
And we explored why time is our only truly non-renewable resource, and how choosing minimalism, like buying empty space instead of clutter, can protect us from burnout.
And finally, we saw that discovering our enough opens the door to genuine generosity and deep human connection. We've learned that true wealth isn't found in a bank account. It is found in the quiet hum of the morning.
Yes.
It is found in the slow pouring of hot coffee, the smell of fresh herbs, and the feeling of a warm blanket when you are truly at peace. Happiness doesn't always require 60-hour work weeks to earn. Sometimes happiness simply requires the presence of mind to notice it.
If true wealth is hidden in the quiet, ordinary moments that we usually rush past, well, I want to leave you with one final, lingering question to carry into your dreams.
Tomorrow, when the sun comes up and you open your eyes to a brand new day, what is one small, ordinary thing you will finally take the time to notice? Will it be the sound of the wind, the texture of your teacup, the smile of someone passing by? What will you notice?
Sleep deeply, dear learner. May your mind be quiet, your heart be steady, and may you wake up tomorrow knowing that you, exactly as you are enough.
Thank you for sharing your precious time and your presence with us tonight. We wish you a very peaceful, very restful sleep. Good night.